What's going on, guys? So, as a lot of you may know, among other content being added to the game, we will soon be getting a new Jason and a new map. But just yesterday, an update to the game's website gave us a lot more detail than we previously had. Let's start off with Jason. We've known for a while now that we were getting Part 4 Jason added to the game. We also knew he would have a single-handed meat cleaver-like weapon, and we had somewhat an idea of what sort of kills he might have. But due to yesterday's update, we now have a lot more information than we previously did. Let's check out what we've now got. Here is a new image from the game's website that showcases Part 4 Jason from the Jason selection screen. Here we can see his grab kills, weapon, strengths, weaknesses, and even a description of one of his new grab kills, Chop Suey. Now the Chop Suey grab kill apparently splits the counselor into two pieces. Sounds good to me. Let's get into Part 4 Jason's strengths. This Jason can run, has increased weapon strength, and increased destruction. This is arguably the best set of strengths we've seen on a Jason so far. The running allows him to keep constant pressure on counselor stamina. The weapon strength is something that allows him to keep constant pressure on counselor health. And here's the biggest one of all: his increased destruction. While we've seen this in-game on other Jasons, Part 8 and Savini, he's got a small, one-handed weapon which may be the fastest animation for breaking down a door in the game. Combining this with his ability to run makes this Jason a really powerful force if he decides to focus on you. All of that being said, this Jason also has arguably the worst set of weaknesses out of any Jason in the game. If it were not for his incredibly powerful set of strengths, this Jason would be right next to, if not below, Part 7 as far as effective playing goes. Anyway, here we have it. He's got decreased water speed, decreased shift, and decreased trap count. This is an issue for perfectionist Jasons who care to kill 7 out of 7 or 8 out of 8 counselors. His decreased water speed almost guarantees a boat escape if he's unable to prevent the counselors from taking off in it. His decreased trap count means he's unable to control the other objectives while monitoring the boat. And while his decreased shift, recharge, and speed is a huge weakness, it's very well countered by the fact that he can run, has the weapon strength, and the destruction to make up for it. So to sum it up, Part 4 Jason seems like a Jason capable of keeping massive pressure on the counselors, but also appears to have an extreme lack of map control. To sum it up a slightly different way, decreased traps make it much more likely that counselors are going to be able to repair objectives. Decreased water speed makes it near guaranteed that the boat can get away from a Jason trying to pursue it. And finally, decreased shift makes it much less likely that Jason will be able to prevent a car escape once the counselors have got the car started. But this isn't a bad thing. This Jason is very unique to the game. While his weaknesses are extremely powerful, his strengths make him seem fun to play, but also fun to go up against. If you are lucky enough to have him never chasing you all game, it's likely that you'll be able to get away. But if you encounter him early on in the game and he wants you dead, you're probably going to be dead. That may not sound like fun, but it implements a whole new layer of strategy for going up against a particular Jason. People may play the game entirely different when they see that it's a Part 4 and not one of the Jasons that they're familiar with. As far as it seems right now, counselors are probably better off playing it safer in the beginning and riskier later into the round, whereas most other Jasons, counselors are better off playing risky in the beginning and safer later into the round. But we can't possibly know how this will turn out until we've had some time to play as and against this Jason. New Jason information isn't all we got yesterday, though. The website now features a sneak peek at the new map coming to the game, the Jarvis house. The screenshots include the two iconic locations from the film, the Jarvis residence and the vacation house. There is also a screenshot of the vacation house's interior, which looks spot on with the location in the movie. As with everything from the films, especially Packanack Lodge and Higgins Haven, the developers have absolutely nailed this. While screenshots to show you guys how accurately depicted these areas are, nothing will do it as much justice as actually watching Friday the 13th, the final chapter, yourselves. I tried to find the single best angles from the films for you guys, but in the film itself, the areas aren't showcased like they are in the screenshots for the game. That being said, let's start off with Jarvis House. Here's a peek at how the Jarvis House will look on the map. Feel free to pause here and really take a good look at how things are laid out. And this is the most comparable angle at the Jarvis residence from Part 4 the movie. While there aren't any scenes that show it like the screen capture, this should give you guys an idea of how well the developers nailed this residence. As for the vacation house, there really is no scene in the film that has an angle much like this where you can see so much of the house. In the film, you really only see small bits of the house at any given time, and this was the best I found. Despite the lack of similarity in the images and the angles, you guys should again be able to see here that the developers fucking nailed it. Anyway, now on to what is potentially the most impressive thing to me from these sneak peeks: the interior of the vacation home. Much like the vacation home's exterior, it was difficult to find a comparable angle to this shot, and if you'd really like to see how well the developers did this, you'd have to watch the film. That being said, here's what I was able to grab. I know that it's an entirely different angle, but you should all definitely be able to see the similarities. And let's be real here, even if this were not an area from the film, they did an excellent job on it. It looks different than anything we've got in game right now, which is very, very refreshing. Anyway, all of the artwork aside, we also have a shot of Jason's map for this level. Let's check it out. First up, with the exception of Elmwood and Blackfoot Camp cabins, there aren't many cabins clustered together anywhere on this map. It'll definitely be interesting to see how this changes the way counselors run from Jason and Jason pursues counselors. Also worth noting is the ridiculous distance from the car on this map layout and the car exits. It's a pretty big change from what we're used to, but I think that's a good thing. One of the best things to note about the car in this location is that it kind of disables off-road escapes. You've got to take one of the roadways across that river or stream or whatever it happens to be in order to get over to the exits, basically forcing you to choose a roadway and not go through the woods the entire way. Anyway, although this is just one possible layout for this map and its objectives, it's fun to speculate what it might be like to play on this level. Also worth mentioning, in addition to the content discussed in this video, on this upcoming Friday the 13th, maps will have weather effects. This has always been a highly requested feature, and as far as we know, in private matches you can determine whether or not the effects are enabled, and in public matches it will be randomized. But guys, there's even more than this being added to the game in the near future, which I will be covering in the next video. Guys, for a little while after uploading this video, I will be responding to any and all comments you guys may have about the map, the Jason, or other changes coming to the game, so please do not hesitate to share how you feel. Now guys, if you enjoyed the video and haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe for future Friday the 13th content, including live streams and news update videos like this one. But until next time, guys, thank you for watching the video. I'm going to leave you with Jason's new trailer, which showcases him, one of his kills, the Jarvis map, the weather effects, all that stuff, so I hope you enjoy it. I am out, guys. See you next time.